The Very Last First Time by Jan Andrews, illustrated by Ian Wallace. Look at that little girl. Does she look like you?
Why is it called Very Last First Time?
I'm very curious about that too. The last first time. Maybe she's had her first time of a lot of things. And this is the last one. But we keep learning our whole life. So maybe she just felt like it was the last first time. Look at that little.
Maybe she never did this, and it's the last time it's going to happen. But it's her first time she's ever going to do this.
I bet you're right. Let's see what happens. Ava Padliat lived in a village on Ungava Bay in northern Canada. Do you know where Canada is?
Hey, Mom, there's somebody named Ava in my class.
Oh.
But her name is spelled A-V-A.
And this one starts with an E.
I wonder how that is. But it still spells Ava.
So she lives up north in Canada. That's all the way at the top of the globe where it's very, very cold a lot of the time.
Hey, Mom.
I haven't been there. Have you?
Mom.
No.
Ava. Okay, she was Inuit. And ever since she could remember, she had walked with her mother on the bottom of the sea. What? It was something the people of her village did in winter when they wanted mussels to eat. Do you know what a mussel is? Do you know those little shells we find in the lake sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
They look like tiny little clam shells.
Yeah.
When they're put together, they have a little animal inside, and that's called a mussel. The ones we find are zebra mussels. The ones they find are bigger, and they're actually good to eat. Today, something very special was going to happen. Today, for the very first time in her life, Ava would walk on the bottom of the sea alone.
Maybe it was her first time walking on the bottom of the sea alone.
Oh.
But it's the last time it's happening.
Yeah. And look, she has two fluffy dogs. Do you see how it's not very bright outside?
Yes.
That's as much as the sun comes up in the winter where she lives.
Oh.
It only comes up that much. And then it goes back down. It's dark most of the day. Ava got ready. Standing in their small, warm kitchen, Ava looked at her mother and smiled. Shall we go now? I think we better. We'll start out together, won't we? Ava's mother smiled. She nodded, Pulling up their warm hoods, they went out. Oh, look, what did she eat for breakfast? Cornflakes. Beside the house, there were two sleds, each holding a shovel, a long ice chisel, and a mussel pan. What does that look like?
I think it's that.
Dragging the sleds behind them, they started off. That's nice. They can just drag them along in the snow.
And
It's kind of like having a wagon with wheels on it,
Mom, no,
but in the snow.
It makes a track in the snow so they don't get lost.
Oh yeah, they could follow their tracks as long as it didn't snow while they were gone. Ava and her mother walked through the village. Snow lay white as far as the eye could see. Snow, but not a single tree for miles and miles on the vast northern tundra. The village was off by itself. There were no highways. Look at that. Just little roads. But snowmobile tracks led away and disappeared into the distance. Do you know what a snowmobile is?
No.
It's kind of like a snow motorcycle. But it doesn't have wheels. It has these runners like this. It's kind of cool. Grandpa Nielsen used to ride snowmobiles in the winter. That's how they'd get up to the cabin up in the mountains. Down by the shore, they met some friends. Oh, look, they're having a get together. And they stopped for a quick greeting. They had come at the right time. The tide was out, pulling the seawater away, so there would be room for them to climb under the thick ice and wander about on the seabed. Oh, look, there's an airplane. Since there's no highways, I bet they have to use airplanes to get far away.
Mom, look, there's blue and yellow.
Oh, I bet that's where the sun's peeking through the clouds. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this big rock tower.
Wait, but it's over there, too.
It's over there?
Yeah.
Do you think that? Oh, no. I thought that was the sun peeking through the clouds. That looks like a weather vane. Somebody's flying a kite. Can you see who's flying the kite? It's a little tiny string. Look up at the kite. Can you see who's flying it? Mm-hmm. Oh, she's by some power lines. Maybe she should scoot over here. There's a boat. Ava and her mother walked carefully over the bumps and ridges of the frozen sea. Soon they found a spot where the ice was cracked and broken. "This is the right place," Ava said. After shoveling away a pile of snow, she reached for the ice chisel. She worked it under an ice hump and, heaving and pushing with her mother's help, made a hole. Ice is very heavy. Do you think there's going to be water right there? Have you ever seen people ice fish? They chisel a little hole in the ice, and then you can see the water right there. And it stays unfrozen long enough for them to stick their fishing line in there and fish for the fish that are still in there. Ava peered down into the hole and felt the dampness of the air below. She breathed deep to catch the salt sea smell. "Good luck," Ava's mother said. Ava grinned. "Good luck yourself." Her eyes lit up with excitement, and she threw her muscle pan into the hole. Then she lowered herself slowly into the darkness, feeling with her feet until they touched a rock, and she could let go of the ice above. Look, there's another one of those rock towers. Do you think they leave rock towers in important places so people can see things when it snows?
Yeah.
So I bet all of these places are covered in snow in the winter. I want to know more. After a minute, she was standing on the seabed. Above her, the ice hole. See the ice hole that she made with her mom? Above her in the ice hole, the wind whistled. Ava struck a match and lit a candle. The gold-bright flame shone and glistened on the wet stones and pools at her feet. Oh, can you see some little mussels right there?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. I wonder if she's looking for those or something else. She held her candle and saw strange shadow shapes around her. The shadows formed a wolf, a bear, a seal, a sea monster. Ava watched them. Then she remembered, I better get to work. That's weird. This is all ice. And this is the bottom of the ocean, but the water is way out that way. They call that the tide going out. So the sea, parts of the day it comes in, and parts of the day it goes out. So she only does this when the tide is out. Oh, look at her cute little boots. I bet they're really warm. Lighting 3 more candles, she carefully wedged them between stones so she could see to collect mussels. Do you see her candle?
Yeah.
That's smart. She does 3 instead of 1. Using her knife as a lever, she tugged and pried and scraped to pull mussels off the rocks. She was in luck. There were strings of blue-black mussel shells whichever way she turned. That's good. She didn't have to look too far. Oh, there's her other candles. Oh, I see a crab. What other animals do you see? I see a little starfish. I think these are little sea plants, like coral. I guess they're okay with the sea going out for a while, because they know it's coming back. Alone, for the first time, Ava was so happy she started to sing. Her song echoed around, so she sang louder. She hummed far back in her throat to make the echoes rumble. She lifted up the long strings of mussels and let them clatter into her pan. Soon her mussel pan was full, so she had time to explore. Oh, look. She found a rock pool that was deep and clear. There's another stack of rocks. Small shrimps in the water darted and skittered in the light from her candle. She stopped to watch them. Reaching under a ledge, she touched a pinky purple crab. Is that what's right there? That must be the crab. What do you think?
That?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Kind of pink and purple. The fronds of the anemones on the ledge tickled her wrist. Beyond the rock pool, seaweed was piled in thick, wet, shiny heaps and masses. Ava scrambled over the seaweed, up and onto a rock mound. Stretching her arms wide, she laughed, imagining the shifting, waving, lifting swirl of seaweed when the tide comes in. All the seaweed is laid down flat, but it actually reaches up towards the sunlight. So it'd be like long tickly grass when the sea comes back. The tide! Ava listened. The lap of the waves sounded louder and nearer. Whoosh and roar and whoosh again. Because the sea is going to come back. Ava jumped off the rock, stumbled, and her candle dropped and sputtered out. She had gone too far. The candles she had set down between the stones had burned to nothing. There was darkness all around. Oh my goodness. That would be so scary. I wouldn't know what to do. Do you think that's happened to her before? With her mom? Help me, she called. But her voice was swallowed. Someone come quickly. Ava closed her eyes. Her hands went to her face. She could not bear to look. She felt in her pockets. She knew she had more candles there, but she could not seem to find them. The tide was roaring louder, and the ice shrieked and creaked with its movement. Ava's hands groped deeper. She took a candle out at last, and her box of matches. Oh, she had more in her pocket. Isn't that a good thing? She didn't burn all her candles. But her fingers were shaking and clumsy. For a long, forever moment, she could not strike the match to light the candle. The flame seemed pale and weak. Ava walked slowly, fearfully, peering through the shadows, looking for her mussel pan. Is she gonna find it? That's the whole reason she went down there. Look. At last she found it and ran, stumbling, to the ice hole. Then, looking up, Ava saw the moon in the sky. It was high and round and big. Its light cast a circle through the hole onto the seabed at her feet. Ava stood in the moonlight. Her parka glowed. Blowing out her candle, she slowly began to smile. By the time her mother came, she was dancing. She was skipping and leaping in and out of the moon glow. Darkness and light, in and out. Ava, her mother called. I'm here, she called back. Take my mussel pan. Ava scrambled onto a rock and held the pan up high to her mother. Then her mother's hands reached down and pulled her up, too, through the hole. Wow, her mom was waiting all that time.
But we should have climbed up earlier.
She probably thought Ava would come back a bit earlier, huh? But she didn't panic. She sat and waited because she knew Ava knew what to do. They'd been there lots of times together. Okay, let's read what it says. Squeezing her mother's hand, Ava saw the moon shining on the snow and ice and felt the wind on her face once more. That was my very last first time for walking alone on the bottom of the sea, Ava said.
So it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was right.
Oh, look at what they're eating for dinner.
Myself.
Mm-hmm. You were right. The very first time that she walks on the bottom of the sea all by herself. Oh, look. There's something behind her head. Look. We can't see this in the sky here, but you can see it way up at the top of the globe. They're called northern lights.
What are those?
Special lights that appear in the sky. It has to do with the way the earth is built and magnetism and the way the sun interacts with the earth. I don't understand it very well. Maybe we should find a book about it.
Yeah.
All right, the end.